Good morning and welcome to our live today. It's the last in our series, 30 days, 30 Microsoft 365 tips. I mentioned in the introduction, in the posts that I made about the event, that things might depend on how the rugby had gone yesterday. I'm not really going to talk that much about the rugby, to be honest with you, apart from say congratulations to Ireland. And a huge congratulations also to Scotland on a massive result yesterday. I think that's got the rugby bit out of the way, to be honest with you. So yeah, today it's a bit of a longer session potentially than the 15 minutes we've been doing so far. But what we wanted today was really kind of provide some value for you in terms of making sure that your organization can access data as and when they need. So organizational data, things such as that might live on your intranet, such as policies, travel claims, centrally kind of sent out kind of items, things that would normally live on your intranet, for example, and make those as easy as possible for your employees to be able to access on any device, any place through Viva Connections and the use of Microsoft Teams. Okay, so how this is going to work today. I've already put together a video of the process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through the video. There's quite a few steps in there, but I've managed to get the video down to about just over 9 minutes. And I wanted to do that because it means that I can really concentrate on telling you what is important on each step of the journey. I didn't want to kind of try and go through it all online this morning because I think that would take a lot longer as we try and go through kind of setting things up. Sometimes also there's a delay in kind of menus appearing or items kind of changing in terms of setup decisions that you make. So I thought it would be better to put together a video. So I will talk you through the video and we can kind of see how this whole process works really from start to finish. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, and on the screen here, so this is the video that I've put together on the process. So I'm just going to maybe extend it a bit more here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're starting off. We're in the SharePoint Admin Center. So the first thing that you need to do here is, I'm going to just write this in a banner actually. Let's do that. So home site. There we go. So I'll show that. Okay, so the first step that we need to do is set up your home site within your tenant. And this is done in the SharePoint Admin Center. You can find out, so Microsoft suggests that you use the root site of your tenant in order to set up as a home site. So you can go to active sites. So here on the left-hand side, you can see in the SharePoint Admin Center, active sites. Now, this is ordered at the moment. So what we need to do is, you'll see here, we need to order it from A to Z, and that will bring up this URL here. So A to Z will bring up the root site of your tenant, and that's generally kind of your business name.sharepoint.com. So this is in order for you to understand which one, so check which one is your root site. As I say, Microsoft suggests using that one. There is a process to change your root site, but we're not going to go into that today. So I'll move on. So we check the root site. So if we click on the actual root site, what we can see is that this is a modern communication site. So that's important. This is created automatically now as part of your tenant. If you're on a tenant that's been running for a long time, potentially you might have to change the root site of your tenant, because it does need to be a modern communication site in order to kind of have all the features that you need for this process to carry on. So as you can see, I haven't really filled out this site with anything, but you can see that we can put kind of events in there, we can put documents in here, we can put news also in there. So we've got lots of things we can do with these modern communication sites. So this one is just set up as a default communication site at the moment, and this is my root site. And now what we want to do is we want to set it up as the home site as well. So the home site is where people will land when they're looking for information, and where Viva Connections will know to put them as a kind of entry point into your intranet. Okay, so moving forward. So we've seen that that is our root site. Now we've gone back into, so I'll just show you here now. So we've gone back into the SharePoint Admin Center, and we want to go to settings. So we go to settings, and then we need to click on home site here. So let's move forward a bit. So we'll click on home site. Okay, and then that will ask us for the URL of the site that we want to use as our home site. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the URL from our root site, and we're going to make that our home site. So I'm just going to move forward a bit. There we go. Okay, so we've just made this. We've just added that to the URL of the home site, and we've okayed that, and that will now make this site the home site also. So it's now the root site of the tenant, and it's also the home site of the tenant. Okay, so move on. There we go. So that's me just adding that in to the URL there. So just copying it from the root site, copying it in there. Okay, there we go. Save that. Okay. There we go. So that is now our home site. I forgot to say at the beginning, actually, welcome everyone, and welcome everyone who's watching us on the recording. So hang on, I'm just going to go slightly back in this video. Okay. Now that we've changed that to the home site, we get a few extra options in our settings for this site. So I'm going to just click on play there. Okay, so up here at the very top on the right hand side, excuse me. Okay, there we go. Up here we have the settings. So let's move forward a bit. Okay, clicking on the settings. Back slightly. Okay, so we click on settings, and then in here you'll see that we have two options that are important now. So global navigation is one setting, and we've also got this additional option here to set up Viva Connections. Okay, so those are two options that have now been added because this has been set up as the home site. So let's carry on. Okay, and we're going to go to global navigation first. So click on global navigation. Okay, we want to enable global navigation. So this means then the global navigation means that we can kind of have an app bar here on the left hand side that will allow us to navigate through our intranet, navigate through the information that we want to see. Okay, so I'm just going to add a logo there. So shameful promotion. There we go. Okay, so initially I'm going to leave this on hub or global navigation, but we'll actually change that just to the global navigation afterwards. So here's our page now. Not changed yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this to home site navigation, because currently, so the hub and the global navigation's there. So this option, the options down here on the right hand side, I don't have yet. I don't have any hub sites off this. So there is a way of adding kind of hub sites to add different portals. So if you have a lot of portals, for example, within SharePoint, you will want to maybe split those into different, what they're called, hubs. So for example, we might have a main intranet, but then we might have a human resources hub, we might have a finances hub, we might have another hub for travel, those kind of things. So there is the possibility to set up these hub sites so that not everything is in one place. And if we are working with those type of hub sites, then we would want to choose this hub or global navigation. But in this case, we're doing quite a simple kind of implementation just to show you how this works. So we're going to choose instead just the home site navigation. So I showed you that we've set up the home site. So we're just doing the home site navigation. Now, what you'll see is here on the left-hand side, now this app bar has changed so that I have my icon that I've just set up here. And then we'll see as we go through the video now how that appears as a navigation tool. Okay, so we can click on global navigation, and this gives us an easy way of getting through this site. So it's moving us through the actual kind of menus within this site and giving us an easy place to be able to navigate this whole structure. Okay, next thing is Microsoft suggests that because you're setting up these portals and lots of people are going to use them, it is worth actually checking that your page is kind of loading correctly, that there's no errors on there, that it's also optimized for delivery. So I'm just going to play this video here. Now, there are two extensions. So there's one for Edge, one for Chrome. So you can see here I'm in the Chrome web store. These addresses, we can provide these addresses actually in the kind of comments for the video afterwards. So what we want to do now is we want to run some diagnostics on our homepage to check if there are any issues with it before it goes live. So let's play through the video there. We add the extension, pin the extension here, and then go back to our site. And then you can see here that I'm just going to pause it here. So now we have the extension. So we're on our site. So you can see it here at the top. We're on our home site, and we want to run this extension, and we can start. So we can start the diagnostics here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, and there we go. Interestingly enough, this was a default page that Microsoft gave me. However, there are a couple of things that need attention on here. So it contains one large image. I'm assuming it's this one here on the left-hand side. And it's also saying that a public CDN is not available. So we're not going to go into this in detail today, but CDN stands for Content Delivery Network. And it means that if you have people in disparate kind of areas of the world potentially, or even disparate kind of offices, a content delivery network can speed up the delivery of your pages to those people. Now, it's not going to make a huge difference here because our intranet is very light at the moment. There's no real media on there. There's a few pictures, etc. So we're not really kind of worried about the fact that we wouldn't have one of these set up. But you know, if our intranet starts getting a bit more interesting, and especially if we get things like video, for example, on there, a CDN, a content delivery network, is a good idea because it means that content is being delivered from a place that's closer to those people who are trying to consume that content. So good suggestions. We're not going to do anything with them now, but it's just to show you that Microsoft do suggest that you run your pages through these diagnostics so that your employees get a really good experience when they're coming to these pages. Okay, moving on. So there you go. So it gives you a bit of a kind of explanation as well as to what you need. And it also tells you which URL, for example, is large on the image. So quite a few green things as well. And you can even get into detail about the network trace that it's going through to load up that page. Okay, so let's stop at that point again. So, okay, now we've done our diagnostics. We're happy that the page is good to go. So settings again, and this is the part we set up Viva Connections. Okay, so when we set up Viva Connections, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a dashboard for people to land on this homepage. So we'll take you through that process now. So I shall move forward in the video. There we go. Oop. Okay, so there's a bit of information here about what Viva Connections is, and the step that we need to take is to create this dashboard first of all. So we're going to click on Create Dashboard. Okay, there we go. Okay, and within SharePoint, this is going to open up initially a mobile view for me. So you can see up here at the top that we can view this as it would look on a mobile and on a desktop. Now, lots of people are probably going to be consuming this content on their mobile, so it's useful to see how these things look on a mobile. So we can start adding what they call cards onto this view. So this is our dashboard for Viva Connections, and we'll see later how this affects what people see. Okay, so we can see how it looks on different devices. We can preview that dashboard. We can publish the dashboard. Okay, so we're going to add a card. We're going to add, so there are predefined cards. So there are predefined cards for approvals, tasks, and we can also add web links, which we can customize, and we can design our own cards, for example, or if we've got Teams apps also, we can add those in there. So let's just continue there. So we're going to add a few of these in order to make our dashboard useful. So we'll add in some approvals, some assigned tasks. There we go. Okay, I'm going to add in our shifts. So this is especially useful for frontline workers. And then again, we can add in web links and we can customize those web links. And this is very similar to building any SharePoint communication site because it's saving your changes. You can publish it. So there we go. We've published that now. So, it tells us that. So this is how it's going to look on the desktop, and this is how it's going to look on the mobile. So we can publish that dashboard. So we published it. Okay, there we go. So it's ready to use. Okay, right. So the next step here now, so we've created our dashboard within SharePoint, and that is ready now as a Viva Connections kind of part that we can use within our SharePoint communication site. So let's move forward and see how that works. We're just going to edit it just a bit more because if the web links, for example, don't have correct titles, you might find an error when you try and add this component into the actual kind of home page. So we'll just update some of the details on here. So we'll put a link into our website on here. There we go. So you can see here that there's lots of options on these web links. So we can add the link in, we can add the card title, can add a link, can change the card description as well, and we can add an icon in there. Okay. So we're going to give it an image as well. There we go. Okay. We'll just move forward a bit. So we're just doing another one here for our academy, for example. So just choosing an image there. There we go. Okay, so that card has now been created as well. Okay, and now this here, so I'm just going to draw your attention to something on the right hand side here. Okay, so something that you can set up within these sites then is this audience targeting. So for example, for this web part, we can actually target audiences and say, we definitely want this dashboard, for example, to appear for these target groups. So we might have some different components. So we can do this with links. This is available within SharePoint, within the home site. We can do this with links, and we can do it with files, for example, we can target news items, we can target specific audiences within the company. So we might want to do that if we happen to have very different audiences that all kind of connect into the intranet, and we want to give them curated content that is very specific for their requirements, and we can target them with information that's relevant to them. We're not going to actually do anything with this for the time being, because ours is very simple this morning. So we're just going to republish this dashboard. There we go. So this is our dashboard now. It's got 5 cards on there. Okay. And we're going to edit our communication site. So we're editing the communication site now. We're going to add in, oh, there we go. So we've added in our dashboard. So hang on, I'll just pause on there. There we go. So what you want to look for here is the dashboard for Viva Connections, and you can type that in the search and it will bring it up. So if it's not in your frequently used, as I was doing this testing yesterday, if you can actually put that in the search there and it will bring it up. So just start typing dashboard and it will bring it up. There we go. Okay. So this is how it will look now. So if we republish our communication site, there we go. That's the communication site republished. Oh, there we go. Just back slightly. So it's republished, and the dashboard will now appear here down at the bottom. So you can just about see it there behind the video controls there. So the dashboard, you can put that anywhere you like on your communication site, but the dashboard is there now on that page. Okay, so the next aspect is we're going to move into Teams, because we've done all the kind of setup in SharePoint to get the site set up. And now we need to go into Teams in order to get the Viva Connections app up and running within Teams. So here we are in our Teams admin center, and we need to go to our manage apps. You might need someone in your organization who has the privileges to do this if you don't have them yourself. And ideally someone who's got kind of knowledge of how your Teams is set up in the background. So what we're going to do is we're managing apps. We're going to look for Viva here. So we're going to do a search for Viva, and we're going to look at, we're going to click on Viva Connections here as it comes up. And you can see that the default status for Viva Connections is that it's blocked by the publisher initially. So we're going to go in here, going to click on, okay. So here are the details for Viva Connections. Okay, there's some information there about what it does. So first of all, I'm going to click on allow. You can actually get everything ready in the background before you do this. So you don't have to click on allow now. You can click on allow kind of at the end of the process when everything's ready to go. So I've just clicked on allow there to allow this app to be used. So it's now allowed. Okay. And then what we're doing here is we are just updating some of the names and details of the app. So even though it's called Viva Connections and it is Viva Connections, we can change this to our own. So for example, I've called mine Illumino IT Hub, which is a kind of description, good description for my intranet. We can describe it to our employees. If we have a specific privacy policy of our own, we should put that in there. We can put our website URL in there so that people know where to go, potentially to get assistance if they're using this, and there is kind of assistance available on your website. And then terms of use URL as well, you can put that in there. So just update those to your requirements. Okay, and then next one is we want to get this set up within everyone's kind of team setup. So we don't want them to have to worry about where is Viva Connections or how do I get to the intranet. So we go to setup policies here. Okay, setup policies. Choose the policy that you want to target. So for example, here, this is a simple setup. So I've only got one policy, which is targeting every employee. So we're going to open that policy. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to add our app. So these are the apps that everyone gets currently when they load up their teams, and they appear in this order generally. What we want to do is we want to add an app. So we're going to add the app. Now, I told you that I had changed my Viva Connections to be called Illumino IT Hub. So I've started typing Viva Connections, but I don't have anything here that resembles Viva Connections. So you need to type whatever short name you've given it. There we go. So you can see that mine is called Illumino IT Hub there. Okay, add that. There we go. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to move this up to the top. Okay, there we go. And we're going to save. So our Illumino IT Hub is now up at the top, and we're just going to click on save down here at the bottom. Just going to hide this banner. Sorry. Okay, there we go. So that's done. Okay, we're just going to check now on. Okay, so once that's done, I'm going to go into setup policies. And we're also going to add this into apps that we want to install for everyone. So I'm going to add it also up here. So there we go. Okay. And just check your permission policies as well, just to check that these apps are allowed. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm opening up my Microsoft Teams here on the right-hand side. So you can see that Teams is loading. Okay, and what we see is that up here at the top now, because I've moved it to the top and pinned it and loaded it for everyone. This is now showing me the Illumino IT setup there. And what you will see is if I click on Illumino IT, so it tells me that my administrator has changed some settings. There we go. Okay, so I have Illumino IT up here at the top. You'd want to change your icon probably as well to your logo. And if I click on Illumino IT, this is what I get. Your intranet is now in Teams, and it's showing the communication site that I've set up as the home site. There we go. And the dashboard is there up at the top where I left it on that page. And there we go. So there's the explanation of how you get your intranet from just being in SharePoint and potentially being more difficult to find into your Teams as an integral part of your Teams client, and right there at the top for people to access very easily. Okay, so I'm just going to show you another very quick video, and this video is to show you how the mobile experience looks. So I'm just going to go through. So Teams, this is how it looks within Teams. So these are the cards. You get a feed as well, and the global navigation that we set up, those resources are there. Communication site, and it will load up that home page. There we go. And there's the communication site, and there's the dashboard. So we can get to that very easily within our Teams app on our mobile phone as well. Okay, so there we have it. So thanks very much for joining us this morning. That's gone on slightly longer than I thought it might do, but I think worth going through each step. So hopefully now you're aware of how you can get your intranet into Teams and make it really easy for all your employees to find information that's targeted at them when they want it and when they need it. Okay, so I'm just going to leave our website there for you on running along the bottom now. I'm just also going to quickly show you that. So this is the web view of Microsoft Teams. So as you can see again, The intranet is there for you to use. And I'm just going to draw attention to our academy. So academy.illuminoit.co.uk. So currently we've got a course in there, which is Microsoft Teams Made Easy. When you click on that, either you can buy as an individual or you can buy as an organization. So please kind of head over, have a look. There's lots of information on this page as to what's in this course. And we'd love to hear whether it kind of, helps you to be able to train your staff in terms of getting them started on Microsoft Teams and getting them all up to speed on the same kind of level within Microsoft Teams, so that you can be more effective in the workplace. So head on over to academy.illuminoit.co.uk. If you've got any questions, get in touch with us on the socials. And we've got very special pricing also for kind of corporations and not-for-profits. So on the organization pricing page, we've got a PDF there, price list, and you can contact us to find out more. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you very much for joining us this morning and for the whole series, and we'll hope to see you soon. Okay, bye.